I think a few more people are still coming in, but we'll get started in a few minutes. I just wanted to take the time to introduce myself. So my name is Shalina Ivy, and I am the enrollment coordinator here with CIEE. I'm currently the enrollment coordinator for the territories of North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, Florida, and Georgia, and I live in Virginia. I just started with CIE this past summer, and I'm really thankful for this opportunity to be able to help young people see more of the world, which is CIEE's mission. I was just living in Spain for 3 years, so I just moved back recently, and that experience of living abroad really makes me passionate about young people being able to experience full culture and language immersion. And I think that, these opportunities that CIE provides is truly amazing. So during the presentation, me and my colleagues are also here, my colleagues Madeline and Christina, and they'll be happy to answer any questions that you have in the chat. And so yes, always feel free to ask any questions during this presentation. I'll try to keep an eye out on them, but they will be there to be able to type everything and help you all out. So I'll give it a few more minutes because a lot of people are still coming in, and then we'll get started. So, okay. All right, I'll share my screen. All right. So here we're going to start the presentation now. Again, please feel free to answer or to ask any questions that you have in the chat, and we'll be really happy to help you. So let's get started. So first, last summer, the students had a TikTok competition of who can make the best TikTok to show off their summer abroad experience. So this gives you a really exciting glimpse into the program, and hopefully, let's see. I'm not sure. I just tried this out earlier now, of course. Hold on, I'll just go this way. There it is. Okay, so that's a very exciting glimpse into the programs. Hope maybe you recognize some famous locations. And here are some quotes that we have. There's some saying, CIE changed my life. I'm visiting my host family again in December. I miss them. We'll definitely be talking more about the host families as this goes on, and we tend to have a lot of questions about those. You can see. And although I wasn't lucky enough to study abroad in high school, I can relate to so many of these experiences of when you do get to live in a new place, when you do get to interact with people from around the world. It's truly an exhilarating and beautiful experience. So here's another one. CIE was truly life-changing for me. So here we have, where will you go? We are lucky, we are very proud to have over 30 different locations for our high school programs. And so if anyone in the chat would like to write down where they're most interested in going, I'd love to read that. So please feel free, just take a moment if you'd like and write down where you really would like to go this summer if you got the opportunity. Italy, Costa Rica, France, Spain, Barcelona. I love it. Madrid, Mexico, Rome. Oh, this makes me so excited. Okay, Palma, Madrid. Christina actually lived in Madrid for 3 years, so I'm sure she has a lot to share. Madeline also lived in Spain too, so we all have a lot to say about Spain. So China, Prague. Okay, nice. Korea and Japan are some of our most popular programs. So, all right. So thank you so much for sharing. And So why choose CIEE? We have been doing this for over 75 years. We started with doing university students, and over the years, we opened up a high school department to be able to give this program these opportunities to high schoolers, which is quite rare. Only 2 to 3% of high schoolers have the experience of studying abroad. We support over 30,000 students a year, including our university students. And we also bring students from other countries to the US so they get to experience what it's like going to American high school, going to American university. So it's really important to us that not only are we allowing young people from our country to go around the world, but we're also bringing others here to experience, intercultural connection. And we are a nonprofit organization, which means that we are very mission based. A lot of my colleagues, a lot of us have worked in the education sector and have also worked abroad. So a lot of us truly feel passionate about this mission, which is really exciting when everyone is excited to help young people. And we administer the largest scholarship fund for US high school students. We have a $5.4 million scholarship fund from our donor, which we are honored to have the opportunity to share. And we will, of course, be talking more about our scholarships throughout the presentation. Fun-filled weeks. So here you get a chance just to imagine the basic structure of our programs are thematic and language and culture, which will give more detail. So this is academic based. As much as you are going to learn so much through the traveling, through the exploration. Can someone mute their microphone? Thank you so much. Okay, thank you. So there's 2 to 3 hours of interactive classes or workshops in the morning. Again, this is academic, so many of these programs, especially the thematic, you will be completing projects, you will be getting to work into the community, and all of these things will be combined academically with different ways that you can, document what you've been doing. The cultural activities, things such as cooking, dancing, learning how to write Japanese characters, like letters, learning how to go into traditional ceremonies, things like that. All of these things are part of what you get to do. And of course, there is free time to explore. The amount of free time you get is dependent on the location, as keep in mind that some of these programs are, they're in the different hemispheres. So maybe the curfew may be a bit earlier than other places just because it may be getting darker earlier, and safety is definitely a priority. But you will get the chance to explore, and in groups of 2 or 3 with your students, chaperones are usually out and about in the area. So, and then also our programs feature 1-day trip and also at least 1 overnight excursion. So at least some programs have more than others, but you will get to also, apart from the location that you're staying at, you will get to explore things in the area, and all of this is included. So. Explore a career path or passion. First, we have our thematic programs, and these are 3 weeks long programs, and they're really great for students to sort of have an idea of where they see themselves going studying wise or career wise. And this is a really great foundation to have, and it looks really great on an application too if you do have hands-on experience in a field that you are interested in studying. Some of these programs offer up to 50 hours of service learning and community service, which is another perk for when you are graduating. I know a lot of high schools, my high school in different degrees, they did require us to do service hours. So you would definitely, this is much more than most high schools require. So you definitely would have that completed. And again, it just is a way to explore passion or career. This is great for college. Again, only 2 to 3% of high schoolers have study abroad experience. So if you do get the chance to do this, it really will help you stand out in so many different ways. And now we have the language and culture programs. These are some of our most enticing programs. Additionally, besides the thematic programs, I would really listen if you are someone who feels that you definitely need a scholarship to travel abroad. I would really have an eye out on these programs just because of that $5.4 million scholarship funding. A large portion does go to the language and culture programs. That's because our donor, that's what she is most passionate about, because she started writing textbooks and she's really passionate about students gaining fluencies, particularly American young people becoming fluent in more than 1 language. So we offer these courses in Spanish, French, German, Italian, Arabic, Japanese, and Chinese. Spanish and French do require at least 1 year, 1 to 2 years, 1 year for non-advanced courses and 2 years for the advanced courses. But all of our other programs are open to complete novice learners. So you've never taken a Arabic class or German class in your life, but you're really interested in the culture and the location, that's great. What we do is we do stamp testing, and stamp testing is a official language test, which don't be too scared. It's more so just a test. We really just want to make sure, just gauge your level. So it's just to gauge your level in your reading, writing, proficiency, and reading, writing, listening, and speaking proficiencies. And based off of those stamp scores, they will divide the academic classes, which have a ratio of about 12 students to one teacher. They will be divided. And so that way you'll be in a group of students who have a similar learning skills as you. So that's great for everyone, where you can be challenged appropriately, but also not overwhelmed. Um, and you will also take those stamp tests after the program, which is really cool. So you will get to see how much you've advanced in the 4-week course. Like it says at the third fact, 4 weeks of our language and culture programs are the equivalent of what you would learn in 1 year in a high school. And we gauge that just based off of the, jumps that we see in proficiency level when students complete these courses, which is really exciting. Another integral part of this program are the local homestays. The local homestays are families of all shapes and sizes that have been carefully vetted. They receive the equivalent of a local background check, whatever their area has for completing background checks. They receive that. They're interviewed. Something that makes CIE different from other organizations and different programs that offer study abroad for high school is that we do have staff who are local year around, and they stay on the ground year round. And so they are able to be actively searching and finding the best families and people who will be the best fit. The homestays are just very open and excited to share their language and their culture with you. And many of them do it year after year. And regardless if they do it year after year, they are still, interviewed and receive background checks. Every adult living in the house will receive background checks. And so we make it as secure as we can. And again, these families are just very happy and excited to share their culture with you. I also wanted to go back for a second to the languages. In the classroom, the teachers are also locals, and they are completely native speakers and local to the area. So that's also a perk, is that you are learning from native local speakers, which is really exciting. And these programs are also eligible for 4 college credits. If you choose to opt into that, it is an additional $150. And those credits are provided through Tulane. After completing the program and once you've received your grades, you would receive your transcripts at the fall. So after the summer, you'll receive the transcripts in the fall, 2 of them sealed, official, and you're also able to request any more that you need throughout the future. So travel, peace of mind. The COVID-19 vaccination is currently required, but this year we are offering exemptions. So how that process would work is that if you have a medical or religious reason for not being vaccinated, you will be able to put that in the application, and from there you will receive it would start the exemption process, and from there a panel will take into account. It really depends. COVID protocols are ever evolving, and many countries have their own different COVID-19 vaccination laws and requirements. And so for that reason, it really just depends on the time and the place. But we are opening up to exemptions this year, because last year we weren't able to, just because many countries had very strict laws, and it would have made it very difficult to travel if unvaccinated. The flights are chaperoned, 1 program leader for every 12 students. The program leaders are another exciting portion of the programs. They are high school teachers, be it language and culture and thematic, but high school teachers who teach those subjects. So for example, if you're in Spain, the program leader will be a high school Spanish teacher and this is different for the people who are in the classroom, but this is more so when you're doing your exploration, your city exploration, your excursions, you will be with an American high school teacher who will be in Spain, keeping you in the target language of Spanish and German or French, wherever you are. And again, these flights are chaperoned, and that includes the international portion of the flight. So for example, if you live in North Carolina and you have to travel to Atlanta Airport, that part of the journey we do not chaperone, but the part that will be from Atlanta to Tokyo and whatever you have to do to get between that, you will be chaperoned. And more information about flights will be sent out closer to early spring, and you will be booking those through Flightbox or agency, but much more of that information will come later. And of course, if your program gets canceled, you will receive a full refund. I did see some people mention that they were really interested in traveling to China, and currently we're not 100% certain if China is running. That information won't be made certain until December, and that is just because unfortunately the Chinese government has not, it doesn't seem like they're changing their borders, and we're just waiting to see if they do. But then there's a certain visa needed to travel there, and currently their borders are still closed to that visa. So if we don't hear anything by December, we will be notifying participants of changing a program or anything like that. So, but you will, again, in the event that your program is canceled, you will receive a full refund. And so now the scholarships, this is very important. So definitely keep an ear out for this as I explain out as much details as I can. And of course, you are welcome to ask any questions that you have in the chat. So we have two different types of scholarships available from our $5.4 million award fund. And the first is the Merit and Financial Needs Scholarships. There are some qualifiers. You must be a U.S. citizen or permanent resident. It is only open to freshmen, sophomore, and juniors, and you can only accept this award only once. The Merit and Financial Needs can cover anywhere up to 100% of all tuition and program fees, and this is done, and also to note, the tuition does not include airfare, so that's something too when you are thinking about the affordability of this. Tuition does not include airfare, but or also any things necessary to get your passport. But the Merit and Financial Need covers up to 100%, and how it works is that you have a scholarship application, which we'll go more into this in the next slide, so maybe I should wait before I explain. But then the other merit scholarship is a merit only, and that covers up to 10%. Anyone can apply, seniors and international students, and you can receive this award multiple summers in a row. So for some people, let's say one summer you got the Merit and Financial Need, the next summer you really want to travel again. So that summer you'd only be able to apply for the Merit Scholarship, and then if you get it, you would be awarded the 10%. So this is how the applications break down for the scholarship applications. So first, it is comprised of 3 short essay questions. And the essay questions are really just a sense to gauge why this opportunity means a lot to you, gauge why this, sorry, I just lost my train of thought, but gauge why this opportunity means a lot to you. The panel who will look at your applications, they really want to just get an essence of who you are. I always tell people when I'm, doing outreach, really put your heart into these essay questions, just because many of the students applying have very strong academics. A lot of the students are just really brilliant. And so what's going to make you stand out most, besides having great academics, is also how well you're able to answer these essay questions. So answer them as thoughtfully as you can. Write them in a Microsoft Word, read them aloud so your friends and family can gauge. You'll be so surprised at all the little mistakes that you catch when you read something out loud, and just really put time into them because it really is important. The transcripts uploaded for your current year, make sure your transcripts include your high school, your full name, all the classes that you've taken. If you are a freshman, you would need to upload your 8th grade transcript and then any progress report you've received from your freshman year. And there's also an online calculator that you can use to calculate your GPA if you don't currently have one. So for any freshmen, you get that question a lot. And then a teacher recommendation. It is more so a form than a letter. It shouldn't take any more than 10 minutes to fill out. So it's pretty quick and easy, and you'll put your teacher's information and email in the application. They will receive an email. So make sure that they check their folder. If for some reason they don't get it, have them check their spam folder. And if not, then you can, of course, email us at hsabroad@cie.org, and we will be happy to help you there. The terms and conditions must be signed by the parents. And then finally, this is for the Merit Plus Needs Scholarship. There are financial supporting documents, and this is how the level of need is gauged. Basically, the panel reviews the applications blind. So they will look at the merit first, and then and the merit, includes its grades, the essay questions, all of those things. And then once they've had the chance to look at those grades, then if it is a Merit Plus Need, they will then look at the financial documents that are supported, the first page of your IRS form. we get this question a lot. You are welcome to block out social security numbers. You are welcome to, black out any like social security numbers, things like that. But based on that, they will look at the income and the household number, and then from there, they will, they will gauge the level award. So it can be 10%, 20%, 60%, and for some people, up to 100% of program tuition and fees will be covered. So that's really exciting. And again, we're just so thankful for our donor for giving us the opportunity to make study abroad much more accessible. Historically, studying abroad, traveling abroad was something that was thought of as only something that the elite could do. And so now we really are just trying to make it something that all students, no matter their background, are able to experience, which is really exciting. So here are some important dates. If you are doing if you don't require scholarship, or if you are doing the merit only scholarship option, we are reviewing those applications on a rolling basis, which means that once you have completed and submitted your application, the enrollment coordinators for your region, we will be reviewing your application. We usually say within 1 to 2 weeks, but as of now, because it's not at the super busy point in the season, we tend to get those back within 3 to 4 days, like review and acceptance. And from there, for the merit only, you will have 10 days to pay the deposit, and that's how you confirm your spot. And then you would find out if you got your scholarship decision within 2 to 4 weeks after being accepted. So that's the timeline for that. If you complete your application by December 1st, you will be entered into a chance to fly free, the early birds fly free, where we are giving away 1 free flight to 1 lucky student. So you still have some time. Hopefully, if you've already started your application, or if you started, we have Thanksgiving break coming up, so maybe you can make a lot of headway in your application there. But by December 1st, all early birds fly free. And then the official final scholarship deadline is January 18th. So if you can't get it in by December, that's okay. You still have until January 18th. And then from there, the scholarship awards will be announced at the end of February. So this is a timeline. And hopefully, you're thinking over in your head how possible, and like as far as getting everything done. And so how to start an application. You can start your application using the QR code here. So if you haven't started your application, please feel free to do so. And just click on apply and select the scholarship. And you can see the scholarship awards that you have that you can select, and then from there you will just begin completing the process. If you haven't started your application and you're starting it for the first time now, or if you have started your application and you have not added your emergency contacts, please do that by the end of this evening, because as the enrollment coordinators, it's really important to us that we do get the chance to connect with your parents and just give them as much information as they may need. Make sure we don't want anyone being surprised. So it's really important to us to be able to connect with your parents. So if you have your application open, or if you're opening it right now, please add your emergency contact information, because ultimately, they're the ones who are going to sign off when you're going or not. So, and now we are going to open up. I'm so sorry, I neglected to look at the chat, but we'll go through the question and answer. So please feel free to ask your questions. Is the deadline January 18th deadline for applications, or only those seeking scholarships? That is a good question. If you are someone who is not interested in receiving any type of scholarship, I do believe in the past we do let them go on if they do email to us. But generally speaking, like January 18th, that is the deadline. So I would just abide by that one. So just my first term as a freshman grades. Yes, if you are a freshman, please add your 8th grade transcript. So get in touch with your school counselor from your junior high or your middle school and ask them if they can give you your transcript for that year. If you qualify for 100% financial need, do you need to pay the deposit? I guess if you wouldn't have a deposit to pay necessarily if you were to get 100%. So I believe, maybe if anyone else my colleagues want to answer that, but I do believe if you had 100%, you wouldn't have a $1,000 deposit to pay in that situation.
I believe you're correct. I don't think they would pay a deposit.
All right.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Christina.
Thank you, Madeline.
No, that's correct.
Okay, what kind of supervision is at the hotel stay and some locations? That's a really great question. So the program leaders are very present as far as like some hostels or hotels, and the hostels are specifically hostels that are specialize in hosting young people. And so there will be like, if there's a floor of guy students, a floor of girl students, then there will be a program leader on every floor. And in some locations, many of the locations, the program leaders accompany them to do laundry. In some locations, the program leaders will accompany them if they are out and about, depending on, just depending on the location. But they will be, the program leaders are an ever present. We do set that expectation. So students just know, please, you are abroad, be on your best behavior, and let's make the most of this experience that we can. What if I only have one parent? What should I do for the second emergency contact? That's a good question. If you have any like aunts, uncles, older cousins, grandparents, anyone like that, that would be another great person. Just to have at least one other contact would be really nice. So anyone else in your family or a really close family friend, that would be, someone ideal. What are the chances of getting into the program you apply for? Is it better to apply early? If you are interested in programs like Japan and Korea, I would tell you to apply as soon as you can. Those are some of the most competitive programs that we have. They do fill up every year. Only 50 to 100 spots are available on those programs, and some place like a good quarter of our applications are for Japan and Korea. So just to give you an idea of how competitive it is. So definitely, and again, put your best foot forward on those essay questions. Those are the things that will help you stand out when things are this competitive. What do people usually look at for the essays? Let me make sure no one's answered these. I don't think so anymore. Okay, so what do people look for in the essays? The essays, they really just want to see how much this opportunity means to you. They want to get an essence of who you are, and they just want to, those are the types of things. Like just answer them as thoughtfully as you can, so that they can just gauge how serious you are about this, why this means so much to you, and what this program would mean for you in your life, I'd say are the best things. I'm a junior and my school doesn't release our first semester grades until February. Yes, just use your sophomore transcript. That's okay. Just use all the grades that you have up until this point. Just use those. You're also welcome to use a progress report in addition to the transcript. The transcript can be official or unofficial. Wait, sorry, so both are only one. I think someone answered that. I want to take 2 trips, but they overlap. Is there a way I can take both trips? No, we do avoid anyone doing that. It's because it's very important that you are there for like as much of the trip as you can be. We can maybe email HS abroad so we can see what programs that they are, and your enrollment coordinator can give you more specifics. But generally, we really try to avoid anything like that. But just email us, or if any of my colleagues would be able to answer that question. Can you please talk about hotel stay and select locations? What is it like, and how does it compare to homestay experience? Thank you, Heather. That's a really great question. So if you are on a thematic program, most of the thematic programs are in dormitory hotel style environments. Some of them do have homestay experiences, but the language and culture, those are exclusively homestays. Besides, Tokyo has a mix of homestay and dormitory. But the homestay experience is very integral. It gives you the chance to interact deeply with locals and people who are from the country, and they're there to share their culture. And also because one of the main important parts of the language and culture programs are being able to increase your fluency. So when you are with a homestay family, that gives you that experience. Versus the dormitory, you will be with your peers. So some people do select programs with a dormitory style experience, depending on what makes them feel most comfortable. So I hope that answers your question. Do you know where the kids in the creative writing London program will stay? As it's a thematic program, my guess would be it's going to be a hostel or a dormitory, and a hostel for young people specifically, but it will be some sort of dormitory style housing. You can apply for the merit-only scholarship. No, you can apply for the merit-only scholarship multiple years in a row. The Merit Plus Need is a scholarship that you can only apply for, and you can only receive one. So let's say one year you apply, and you don't get it, but you apply the next year, you're welcome to apply, but you can only receive it one time, like once in your lifetime.
Oh, sorry. Shalina, can you read the question you're on? Because I don't know if Christine is feeling the same, but I'm getting lost on what questions you're on and what questions.
I'm so sorry.
I'm super lost.
No worries.
Yeah. I was reading the last question I just read was by Judith Manriquez, and she was asking, do you know where the kids in the Creative Writing London program will be staying? If it helps, I'll say the names before I I just answered was Isaiah Scholarship.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm so sorry. I'll try saying the names. That will help maybe.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Okay. I am a mother and very concerned as every mother, of course. How can we have a peace of mind with the chaperones looking out for our children? So again, the chaperones are there. They're very present, and they are going to be there to guide the student requested live transmission. Okay. Well, they are going to be there. We do also, but a big part of also having the students study abroad is also encouraging them to be at their most responsible before they depart. They will be undergoing a lot of different pre-departure webinars and things like that, and information that can help them make them the most responsible and also the most safe that they can be, such as when they are on public transportation, don't have your phone in your back pocket, don't have your headphones in your ears when you're out walking, just be very aware of your surroundings. So we do encourage the students to do those things. But of course, like when they are doing their cultural activities and they're out exploring the city, like in groups, the program leaders will be there. They will have some time to do solo exploration, but even within the solo exploration, we are always, reminding must be in groups of 2 to 3 minimum, be aware of your surroundings, those types of things. So the free time, it's important as gauging, helping them get to see more and those being more self-independent, but they are also, the chaperones are ever present. We also give that expectation. So students, don't decide to do, choose any poor choices like alcohol. We always get that the last week if it does happen, it is, that is something to know anytime. And these are things you will learn about, but if students caught drinking alcohol, that is immediate expulsion. It doesn't matter if there's 3 days left in the program, 2 days left in the program, you will be sent home immediately because we have a no tolerance for any alcohol consumption or things like that. And even in big cities, you'd be very surprised, students are in Paris last week and a chaperone walks by in a restaurant and sees wine glasses. This doesn't happen often, but when it does happen, so we do sort of set that expectation with them as well. So I hope that answers your question. Christine Harper, I think you were going to tell us where the kids stay. Is it always with host families? Are they alone? So host families will have generally 2 to, if you're one student, there will be 1 to 2 other CIEE participants in the homestay. It just depends on how, what accommodations that they have, but they are generally not solo. It's quite rare that they are solo. So that can also be comforting knowing that you are with, someone else from your country, someone else you can communicate with maybe more easily, and someone, you can have a camaraderie there. So. Melissa Pierce said, I may switch programs. She said fills up every year. Japan and Korea, those are our most competitive programs, undoubtedly. So those are the programs. Yeah, those are very competitive programs. Sasha Bernie asked, what are the differences between traveling to different places? For example, different parts of Spain as a part of the advanced program. So what's really cool about our language and culture programs is that they are localized, like the academic portion, the activities. So if you are in the Yucatan or if you're in Sevilla or Madrid, you are going to be you're going to be experiencing completely different academic itineraries. They really make it very localized, even down to the vocabulary. So as far as the difference between advanced and non-advanced, I would say 2 things. For the advanced, you are going to be students who are all at a higher level. So if that's something that you're really looking for, something to really push you, and by being with students who are at a higher level, who've all had at least 2 years, that's going to help push you. And then also, I would say the advanced one both of them will be keeping you in the target language as much as possible, but the advanced even more like even as much as possible, near 100%, they will be keeping you in the target language, like especially all the assignments, anything like you have to write will be expected to be written in Spanish, where the non-advanced, there will be some times, for example, if you're doing reflections, you will be free to write some of those in English, but I hope that answers your question. When do we have to give the deposit? Can we see if we get any merit or scholarship? If you are doing the merit only, your deposit, or a non-scholarship, your deposit will be due within 10 business days of being accepted. And then as far as the merit plus need, will receive your scholarship decision and at the end of February, and from there you will have 10 business days to dispose of all scholarships. So you have 10 business days to decide and think on if this is possible for your family, if this is the right choice for your family, and then within those 10 business days, you will need to pay your deposit. And then all program tuition fees are due April 15th. So, and that can be paid in the increments that you need, but April 15th is when all program tuition is due. If you apply for a program and don't get the scholarship, is it possible? Oh, yes, that is a really great question, Lauren. Thank you. You are not, like, just by applying, just by opening an application, even by receiving a scholarship, you are not locked into travel at any point until you decide to confirm that you're traveling. So that's why, even if you're not 100% sure right now, like, just open an application, complete it, submit it, and things come up. If there's something related to family, or just for whatever reason you realize by February this is not the right year to do this is not the right time to do this, or for whatever reason you just can't, you are not locked into travel by that point. You're only locked in once you confirm and pay that deposit. Hi, can you talk about the Barcelona trip and experience? I don't have any, and Christina and Madeline, you're definitely welcome if you have more details. I know, like, of course, there will be like the academic classes in the morning, 2 to 3 hours. You will, I imagine, you get to visit what's the cathedral, Sagrada Familia, that large cathedral, and things like that. I do know, like, again, if you want something more specific, unless Christina and Madeline know, definitely email us at hsabroad@cie.org, and we would be happy to send out the program itinerary. Actually, we may have on the website, we may have.
Can you? I'm sorry to cut you off, Shalina.
No, you're
I
fine.
just noticed. I noticed we're putting it in me and Christina are putting it in the chat a lot, but if you have a specific question, I'm going to put it in the chat one more time. But if you have a specific question on like a specific program, just book a call with one of us, or send us an email with that email. I'm going to put this link in the call. Everybody save that link. You can book a call with one of us, and then we could talk more specifics. I just don't want to just because we're pressed for time, I don't want us to spend time on specific programs, but if you want to talk like specifically on one of our Barcelona programs, or I saw a question about Morocco, just book a link, like book a call with one of us, or shoot us an email.
Thank you so much, Madeline. Yes, we are always like very happy when we get bookings calls and being able to talk, one-on-one. It's really helpful for parents or students, because you're able to just, plan it at when's most convenient for you. So always yes. And then you'll see just based on your state, and then that'll be your enrollment coordinator that you should choose. And let's see,
Sorry, Shalina, just so all of the parents see it, could you also go to the slide that has our email address and phone number? That way the parents, like everyone could just take a picture or have it there.
Oh, okay.
That way they can also reach us either through the link that Madeline has posted, or just calling the phone number that's there, or email address.
Hold on, let me share my screen. You said it's the last one of the slide?
Yeah, it should be like one of the slide right after.
Hold on. Oh, right here.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. Oh, let me get the chat. Sorry. Has anyone? Let me see. Are the applications? I'm trying to figure out how far back I need to go. When you get the chance to meet other people who are in the same group as us before we get there, you will be able to connect with people on Canvas or Canva. No, Canvas. Canvas is what you'll be using for your classes, so you will be able to connect with some of your peers before, and you'll also be able to connect with your homestays about a week before for the first time. I think I'm trying to figure out. I lost my page when I stopped sharing where I was, and so I'm just trying to make sure. When do we have to give the vote? I answer that. If you apply, I answer that. Is the deposit? The deposit does go to the deposit goes towards the program tuition fees. For the application, there is a $25 fee that you will have to pay, but the deposit does go. It's non-refundable, but it does go toward your program tuition fees. Do Canadian students fly out of Canada or a US airport? I would imagine that's something that would be answered more closely when we do the flight box, but I imagine you will probably fly to wherever you'll be flown, to wherever like the largest group is next to you. So I'm not sure where you are in Canada, maybe somewhere JFK. If you're on the West Coast, maybe you'd need to go to LA. Like, I'm not sure, but that's something that will definitely be clarified as it gets closer. Can you quickly go over Madrid? As we mentioned, on the website, there's a lot of information. And then like if you are looking for more specific information, definitely have schedule a bookings call with us and we'll be happy to give you more. But it is a language and culture course, so you will get to be in an immersive and cultural Spanish experience and Spanish culture experience, which is really exciting. So kids stay alone at the language programs or with another student. So I mentioned in the homestays that they will be with 1 to 2 other CIE participants in the homestay. Have you ever had a problem with a homestay family? In the past, we have had some students, or maybe for whatever reason, if it was just cultural misunderstandings or, just whatever, sometimes, some people are all different. Sometimes there are times where students just feel like they're not able to connect. That does happen, but when that does happen, we immediately find a different homestay for the student. We don't present it as their fault or anyone's fault. We just, want everyone to be as comfortable as possible. The homestays do go through a lot of training, a lot of different cultural training. They do go through, just to, as far as what it's like if you are welcoming someone from a different country, a young person, ways to make them more comfortable. So they do go through a lot of different training and things like that to make them, and they're also aware of the curriculum of the students as well. So we do a lot of things to just try to make it as successful as possible. But of course, there are occasions where maybe, again, the student just chooses, we find a different homestay family from them, and then from there, they're much more comfortable or whatever it is. So, which Northeast hub do you fly out of? Logan? I am not 100% sure about that. I'm sorry if anyone else knows, but any of my other colleagues, but just message us again and we can find out that information for you.
We haven't decided. Oh, sorry. I know we haven't decided quite yet the specific gateway airports that we're doing for summer of 2023. But like Shalita said, when you're confirmed, we're constantly updating you. So we'll give you that information once that's confirmed. But I just know for us on the back end, we haven't quite confirmed which gateway airports we'll be using for that summer. I don't think so, at least. Christine,
I haven't seen any.
No, we haven't confirmed it, but I do know, for example, like just past years, if you're going to Europe, usually students fly out of a New York airport. So usually it could be Newark, JFK. That really varies. I know if students are flying to Latin America, usually it's Miami, but of course this can all change. If students are flying to Asia, usually the hub airport is LA, but again, none of this is concrete yet.
Thank you so much, Christina and Madeline.
Also, really quickly before you finish, because I got lost again. And I want everybody's questions to get answered. How about if we could move towards just some people like raising their hand and asking their question? And then you can
feel free to unmute yourself. Don't be shy. If you're asked a question, it's very probable that 10 other people are wondering the same question, but everyone was just a little shy. So should we finish answering these questions, or should we just jump into allowing people to unmute their microphones?
I was thinking you could answer the questions for those who are going to unmute, and then and then me and Christina could tackle the rest of the chat questions.
Oh, okay, that sounds good. Okay, perfect.
But just tell me where you left off, because I don't remember.
I was reading Anwar Ali, who asked on the summer abroad programs, where will we be staying?
Okay, great.
Okay, so if anyone, should I keep sharing the screen so everyone has access to seeing the email and the number? Okay.
Yeah,
so
I think that'd be good.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so if anyone would like to unmute their microphone and ask their question, I'd be very happy to speak with you. So don't be shy.
Don't be shy. You might get your question answered faster.
Hi, I have a question. Is there a Q&A for parents that we can get a lot more detailed information about the entire programs that we are interested in?
I don't know if closer, I mean, I do know as far as this closer to the pre-departure and everything like that, there's a lot of information and things for parents who when their students are confirmed for travel. But if you would like to get more detailed information about the programs that you're interested in, the best bet would be to schedule a call if you're enrollment coordinator. So wherever wherever you're located right now, you'll see that on the bookings page. You'll see the enrollment coordinator that handles your states, and from there you'll be able to schedule a call, and they'll be able to give you a lot of those more detailed answers if you have more specific questions or you're only interested in a small portion of something.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Next person.
I have a question.
Okay, hi.
Hi. So we're in New Jersey. So if my daughter wants to go to Japan, and the nearest hub is LA, if we leave out of a flight, let's say out of Newark, is that chaperoned, or is it just in LA that's chaperoned?
Okay, thank you. That's a good question. So so for the flights, the chaperone flights, only the international leg of the flight is chaperoned. So sometimes students, or if the student has a lot of experience traveling, their parents are okay with them, flying and then meeting the group at the hub where the chaperone and all the other students will be. And then sometimes some parents choose to fly with their student until they get to the international leg or the hub, and then from there they will. But it's only the international leg of the trip that is chaperone.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Thank you. And Christina would be your since you're in New Jersey, Christina here, she is your enrollment coordinator. So if you ever have any more questions or want to schedule a booking, she'll be your go-to person.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also you can schedule an appointment with the link that I put there, and I'd be more than happy to answer any specific questions that you might have.
Okay.
Okay, the next person, anyone?
Could you tell me about the academic section of, you said it was 2 to 3 hours in the morning. Are there any expectations for homework, or how does that work?
Yeah, great. That's a really great question. So it depends on on both courses, it depends on as far as like the thematic tends to have a lot of projects, and it's more like a lot of project things and working what they've been doing with the theme and just bringing something into fruition to represent that and all that they've learned. And then the language and culture, there's a lot of different assignments related to speaking, related to getting out, like when they're with their program leaders. They will have homework, they will have things that they will need to complete and show up in class ready to share, ready to reflect, ready to practice what they've been learning. So it's definitely, academically, our language and culture programs are like the curriculum is designed by language specialists and people. We have really close contact with them, Karen and Katie. They're people who are really like they've just planned a lot and spent a lot of time in the education sector. So the curriculum is really outstanding, if I do say so. So hopefully that answers your question. The next person.
Who's the selection committee?
Are you talking about the panel or who judges the application?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a good question. not 100% sure about the panel. It's an outside panel, so it won't be us. Like, we just look at your application for completeness and making sure all the components are there. And then the outside panel, they look at it they're the ones judging it and using the score. But I'm not sure if Christina or Madeline has more information on the panel.
I'm trying
Oh,
to I'm trying to remember what you said, but the panel is just we hire like a separate like committee of people, like not CIEE affiliated, who are going to review the application, so it's completely unbiased. We don't.
yeah,
I
it's an
think we're in the process
external.
of. Yeah, it's an external committee, so it's not like part of CIEE. If that makes sense.
Thank you, Madeline and Christina. Anyone else? Oh,
Yeah,
hi.
one more. Hi, well, hi again. Just another angle from the question I asked you before. So if we were to make reservations for the airline, is it do we have to book two separate flights, or does CIEE arrange both flights for us, like from Jersey to LA,
Oh, yeah.
from LA to Japan?
Okay, yeah, that's a great question. So we use Flightbox, our agency, and they specialize in grouping or booking group flights. And so your student will be chaperoned to and fro. So your student will be, for the international leg, they will be with the chaperones on both legs of that, on like when they're coming and going. So
Right, but does Flyfox book the entire itinerary or just the international component?
oh,
I think it's just
ooh.
international.
Okay,
Sorry
just
for
the international. Yeah,
So
I
we have
didn't
to-
know the answer, so.
Oh, so we have to coordinate that first flight then.
It would be, well, if for example, if you're based in New Jersey and the flight is, I think you mentioned you want to go to Asia. Was that
Yes.
Yeah, so it would Flight Fox, if I'm not mistaken, they would just coordinate the flights from, let's say, if the airport is LA,
Yeah.
just from LA to the destination, and then from the destination back to LA.
Mhm.
So if I'm not mistaken, I believe, yes, parents would be responsible for coordinating in between.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Christina. That was a great question. Thank you. The next person.
I have a question. So if you get accepted for a scholarship, how much money would that actually take off the whole cost?
So it depends on the size of the scholarship that you are awarded. It can be anywhere from the merit plus need is up to 100%, and that is just based on the additional financial documentation that is reviewed after the panel has looked at the academic session of your portion. They don't know if it's a merit or need scholarship at first. So they look at the academic portion. Then when they're impressed with that, then if it's a merit plus need, they look at the financial documentation that's been uploaded, and based off of the household size and the income, they will decide an award number. So some students do receive up to 100%, and then it can be 30%, 40%. Just a lot of people will ask this. Some people are wondering who qualifies for the 100% or the 90%. And that is generally students who are on free and reduced lunch. They're the type of students who will see those 100% tuition scholarship awards. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Thank you. Another person. I see 4 participants raised hand, but I can't, oh wait, can I? Yeah, just, you're welcome to unmute whoever unmutes first, because I'm not sure if I can. Anyone who, anyone who has a question, you're free to ask now.
Hi. So
Hi.
you guys said that there was going to be a main airport that everybody was going to be flying out to. But if you're applying to Africa, where would the main airport be, out of curiosity?
I'm really not sure about that right now, just because those are the types of things that we'll have much more of a clear idea on in the spring. I'd imagine it's probably going to be somewhere on the East Coast, just because they're that's closer to African countries from here. So I would imagine on the East Coast, but we'll have a much clearer picture for that when it comes closer to book times for booking the flights in the early spring.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I have a question.
Hi.
Hi, is the tuition include health insurance or any insurance for the student?
Yes, thank you. That's a really great question. So the students will be covered next, and this, that's part of the tuition fee. So if they have to go to a medical center or anything like that, it is a reimbursement type plan. So if a student needs to pay, they will be reimbursed. They will keep the receipts, and CIE will keep a record of it, and then they will be reimbursed afterwards. So we generally, for this reason, we don't recommend that students carry a large amount of cash. Definitely enough cash to have just in case anything happens, but then some sort of debit card that doesn't have international fees, so that way in an emergency you would have access to that. So I hope that answers your question. But yes, you are insured via INEX.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Another person?
This goes back to an earlier question. Someone had asked about another information session for parents. Is there any possibility to talk to parents of alumni that went on some of the trips? I know you offer an alumni Q&A, but is there a way that we can be connected with other adults who have experience with the program?
That's a really great question. I don't know because we do have a way for students who are interested to connect with other students, but I don't know if right now we have a way for parents of alumni to connect with parents. Do we have that, Christina or Madeline? If we don't, I would definitely bring that up to our supervisors, because that's a really great question.
Yeah, that is a good question. Like you mentioned, I know that we only have the ability for alumni to be in contact with potential students. The other, I don't think we have a list, but we can check for you if you want to send us an email, and we can try to get back to you. The other thing that I would suggest is if your school has had other students travel with our program by any chance, that would be a good resource for you, maybe to check and ask. But otherwise, I would suggest sending us an email, and we'll try to get back to you and see if there are other parents that you can talk to.
I've also had some parents, because I've had parents ask for that in the past. I've had some parents just ask the alumni, can I talk to your parents? Like I'll send them I'll send them the information of the alumni, and then they'll just like say, can I also speak with your parents? And then usually they'll say yes. If they don't, we can give you like more alumni referrals, but that's another like way to work around that.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. The next person. Anyone else?
How much time are we allotted to explore other places in the city? Like, let's say we're going for a summer abroad program. How much time are we given as students to go out and explore the city on our own?
So we do set the expectation that your free time will be limited, just because the programs itself are quite intensive with the amount of things that we have planned for you, because we really want to maximize your time in the country. And then there's of course the academic the academic components and the explorations, and then any overnight trips. So usually you probably will have 2 to 3 hours. It just depends on the location. You will also be spending time with your home stays. A lot of times students will go out and have dinner with their home stays, things like this. So you will get to explore in other ways. But I would say it just depends on the location as far as curfew, because keep in mind, for example, if you're traveling to South Africa, if you're traveling to Argentina, it's during this time of year in the summer, it's their winter. So it's going to get dark quickly, and we're not going to have teenagers running around, on dark streets at night in another country. So the level of free time you get and the curfew is location dependent, and as well as the program leaders. Again, they're local to, not the program leaders, the site staff for these programs are people who live there year round, so they know ultimately what's best when it comes to safety. So we really take heed for what they suggest. So hopefully that answers your question. You will, of course, it is important, like downtown is important. It is important to be able to spend time with your peers, getting ice cream, getting souvenirs, those types of things. But, you will be quite structured as far as your schedule.
And when you say 2 to 3 hours on average, is that every day or every week?
No, I would mean like every day. So like, let's say you've had your classes, and again, but I will say also the days can be depending on what activities that they have for the day, it could like change, but you'll have your classes, then you'll have lunch with your peers, then you'll have your explorations, things like that. And then maybe by that time it's like 4 or 5 or 6 in the afternoon. It just depends. And then, your curfew, you usually will check in if your home stays throughout your days and things like that. So it just depends on the day itself and the location again.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're gonna pick a location in Europe, are we guaranteed that there will be a chaperone available with either a New Jersey airport or a New York airport without having to, fly in an extra hub?
Well, like I guess I guess that would be more so, I don't know if I'd say out of luck, but like if like you are in New York or New Jersey and they happen to have the hub there, then yeah, that would be easier on your end as well for as far as traveling out. So I don't know if that answers the question.
Well, so how can if we pick a location, like how can we find out the information about the hub of that flight?
That information won't be available to us until early spring when we begin to plan flights, and Flightbox lets us know what's available and what's the best ideas and ways to get everyone together in the best and most efficient ways possible.
So at that point, it'll be too late then to pull out.
Yeah, because you'd be confirmed to travel.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay, so we have to basically pay the deposit first, or pay the full amount, and then find out about the flight arrangements.
That's essentially Christina and Madeline, but yeah, you find out especially if you are getting your merit plus need scholarship. That won't be, because those scholarship decisions are announced in late February. It won't be a huge gap of time between the time of being confirmed for travel and then making those travel plans, such as flights and things like that.
Yeah, we don't want you to get your flight before you're confirmed and everything, just so we want you to make sure that our programs are super competitive, so that's why we have the deposit, so that way we know for sure you've already committed, you're going to travel on this program. Otherwise we would want to fill that spot for another student. And then like Shalina said, it's a very quick process. So within about a month or so, you're going to start literally right when you're confirmed, it'll show the tasks on your My CIE account, and you'll see what you need to start completing, and then we'll start rolling with that process. So it's a pretty quick process.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Madeline. Does that help to answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
On
Hi.
your on the location that you went to for your CIE program, what was your most memorable experience?
Oh, thank you, but I've actually never traveled abroad with CIE. I lived in Spain for 3 years because I was teaching English. But if there is if you do have a specific program in mind, we would love to maybe connect you with an alumni, so they would be able to give you a more specific answer. I'd be happy to talk about my broad experience, but I didn't travel with CIE, so that's different than what you're asking for. But we would love to connect you with an alumni, so please feel free to email us at the email hsabroad@CIE, and then we could connect you from there. I'm not sure if we have the list out, but if we do, we'll have it there. If we don't, we'll have it out very soon.
If you're applying for merit plus need scholarship, do
Mm-hmm.
you still have to put down a deposit, and how much will the deposit be?
That would depend on how much of the scholarship you have covered or the tuition that you have covered. So like, because we had someone ask this question earlier, if you were to receive, 100% or 95% of your tuition covered, you probably wouldn't have $1,000 to put down. So I'm not sure, maybe Madeline or Christina, I'm not sure if they adjusted deposit based on the tuition that they have to pay in the end with the scholarship applied, but that's something I would be happy to like follow up with you with, because right now I'm not sure of the answer.
So I'm
So
guessing
it
you.
oh,
I'm sorry. I'm
go.
sorry.
I was just gonna interject. It depends. Like if you got a scholarship that covered all of your tuition and you only had $200 left, we're a nonprofit, so none of the money we get from you is like we take for profit. It solely goes towards like your program. So if you only had like $200 left, we're not gonna charge you like $1,000 deposit because it wouldn't go towards your program. You have to now for that. This $1,000 deposit, I think it's lingering in some people's heads. It really applies a lot towards like our merit only scholarships or those who have a large amount to cover. Because those scholarships only cover up to 10% of the program. So you'll likely have like, we want to make sure that you're aware of how much you'll have to pay. So the deposit would be $1,000 for like, if you had like $3,000, for example, to pay, then you'd pay that $1,000 that would go to your tuition. Like all those logistics, we're kind of gonna cover later down the line once we've all like collected all the applications, we reviewed everything, and we'll get into specifics. Like in February, we'll say, okay, you've been confirmed, you've been accepted into this program, you have 2 weeks to pay this amount, you've been given the scholarship. Like we'll keep you aware of everything, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. So essentially, you receive you receive your scholarship if you do get one. You receive that first, so you can know how much you have to pay later on. So you receive the scholarship first, correct?
It's like kind of simultaneously, like you'll receive now for merit only scholarships, we're accepting people on a rolling basis for those. So if you are applying for that scholarship, you could apply and submit it and be done today, and then within a week to 2 weeks time we accept you into the program, but you still don't find out about your scholarship till February. So we'll still require for that $1,000 deposit for merit only scholarships or direct enroll, which are just people who don't require a scholarship. But if you're applying for merit and need, just please don't worry about this deposit number right now, because it depends on how much scholarship amount you're getting. Your main priority right now should be putting in that application, and then we'll tell you next steps in February. But if you're not applying with the scholarship or you're applying for the merit only scholarship, then yes, within 1 to 2 weeks of being accepted into the program, you will have to pay the deposit to confirm your spot.
All right, thank you.
I'm sorry, I just took over.
No,
Sorry,
Madeline, no,
Shalina.
thank you. No, like I appreciate it so much. No, thank you. Because I'm presenting my brain's a little so thank you so much. You said that a lot clearer than I can at this moment. So
Hello.
And just
hi.
Hi.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, please.
No, just one more tidbit and then I'll stop talking. One more tidbit is well, I'm in Arizona, so it's 7:08 my time, but it's 9:08 Eastern Standard Time. Just to keep track of everybody's time, we might start maybe wrapping up questions, and then if you have any more questions, just send them to hsabroad@cie.org and we'll get them answered. Like you'll hear back within about 24 to 48 hours if you have any questions, but I think this is a good time to start wrapping up questions.
Okay, thank you, Madeline. Yeah, so we'll take this as our last question then, and then we'll wrap everything up. So you can go ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think someone just asked the question. I mean, I wasn't sure, but I would like to know if once the students get to the airport, destination, if there will be people there, like chaperone or the host family, the host family there. That's one thing. And the other thing is, how do you select the host family? And this is precisely for Morocco, because that's where we are interested going. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. So for the first part of your question, yes. When your students are traveling, then they're on the chaperone flights and they land in their destination, they are, they're on their program. So we have everything taken care of. We have everything planned. We have everything organized. So they will generally be with their program leaders. And then from there, I believe, depending on the program, they will travel to maybe the CIE location, the center location, and then their home stays will get them from there. But yeah, I believe that I don't think we have the home stays go to the airport. I think everyone meets the CIE center staff or wherever they're going to be holding their lessons in their classrooms, and then they meet the home stays there, and the home stays will meet them there. And then the home stays, again, they're people who are excited and open to sharing their culture and their language. So they do go through interviews, they go through training, and they also receive their local equivalent of a background check. So whatever their government has, their country has, their city has for background checking, that's what we do. All adults in the house will receive background checks. CIE visits their home. They're to make sure that everything is up to what they've described. They visit their home every year. And yeah, so I hope that answers. I can't remember if I said everything that I needed to about the home stays, but they are carefully vetted year after year too, because we do have some home stays who do, they open up their home 2, 3, 4 years in a row. And every year they will, receive the same interviews, the same checking, just to make sure that everything is, up to our standards and the standards that you would want for your child.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So yeah, like Madeline said, I think now is a good time to wrap everything up. I really, really, really appreciate all of you from coming out and asking your questions and just being interested in this opportunity. I really hope that we'll be able to make your study abroad dreams into reality, just because, it's truly all of us really believe in this mission and allowing everyone to, young people especially, to experience the power and the beauty of global connection and just getting to experience this world, because our world is so big and it's so beautiful. And I just think, the fact that you are all young and interested in this, you should just feel so proud of yourselves for that. So with that, I think we'll close it out.
I'm so sorry. Can I ask one last question?
Yeah, sure. One last question.
I'm so sorry. I just wanted to ask, on the international leg of the flight, is it going to be only CIEE people on the flight, or is it going to be with other people as well? And will we be riding with other CIE students on the flight?
That's a really great question. Yeah. So the flight, we can't promise that we're booking out an entire flight or entire plane solely for CIE. So there will be other passengers. And then again, it is our goal for students who are interested in the chaperone flights. It is our goal to have all the students together on the flight. So you will be with your peers and the program leaders as well. So thank you for that question. And like I said, again, I'm so happy to see everyone in the chat. It really makes me so happy just to see so many young people interested in this opportunity. Parents, thank you for supporting them and being curious about this. I know, my family, if I was younger, or even when I was 22 and decided to move to Spain, some of my family members are quite skeptical, but we really appreciate the parents as well for being, open to this experience. So with that being said, we are going to close the meeting now. And again, thank you so much for your time. And we really hope that we get to connect with all of you in the future. So thank you so much and have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
We got to figure out.
Thank you.